Yeah, I did. Okay. I forgot. Oh God, I hope nobody ain't screenshot that. Lord help me, Lord. Anywho, let me drink some coffee and regroup. Oh God, that 360, this 360 camera, yo, it is not good. You know, the 360 camera, it it's a 360, so it spins all the way around. So I forgot that it was on, and it just followed me. Good thing me have on good drawers next Lord. You can imagine if my drawers them did all the. No, sir. That's why they said make sure you have on good panties. I don't want you all seeing me in my panties. No, no. And my legs. Oh no. It's too much. My goodness. So I had to delete the video. So who got a quick peep show? I'm glad you all enjoyed yourself. Thank you, Ingrid. I turned it off, Ingrid. It's off. OFF. So I deleted the live. Thank you for my wonderful moderator, Ingrid, because YouTube would have had a heart attack to see, said the woman in our drawers. This is not Pum Pum Corner, okay? Okay, good. Okay, so so we've returned. So let's just wait now, because I had a wardrobe malfunction, guys, and from the waist down, and I had to delete the video because no. And this one, he comes and interrupts everything and gets me all hot and bothered. And the camera thingy is on, and there you go. You see your girl. Whatever, Hina. Whatever. Oh, you saw too, Hina? Whatever. It's good to laugh at yourself sometimes. Hina, Inamdar, did you see the other live? I bet you he says yes. Oh, he's not answering. Oh, okay. I'm just waiting to build momentum. Okay, Hina, thank you, Anamdar. I can see where this is going, but remember, Ingrid is here, so she's watching you very keenly because you know what's next. But thank you, Hina, Inamdar. Thank you, darling. You think I'm sweet? Oh, thank you. Uh-oh, there you go. I told you, Ingrid is on the warpath. Guys, let me warn you before you start. Ingrid is here. And you know what that means when you see Ingrid. Good. I'm just warning you. That's it. Because, we had to do a revamp. You need to do the thumbs up, right? As much as we had 200 and what's... Thank you, Ingrid. As much as we had 200 and whatnot people watching, right? Now we went down, right? And we only had what? I think 2 thumbs up or something like that. Now, I don't know if something's wrong with the, thumbs up button. But like I said, if y'all don't want to do the thumbs up, it's good. But you'll just continue watching the mad white hair lady and try to figure out what she doing. Right? Okay. So you haters over here who continue to come over here to watch me, why you don't do the thumbs up? What is it about me that you don't want, to happen? And you see what you guys don't realize. When you try to prevent people from doing stuff, it happens anyway. Yeah, it happens anyway. Yeah, when you try to stop people from doing stuff. My ratty hair. Yeah, my ratty hair. Yeah, my ratty. That's what one of the viewers said. I got ratty hair. people or something here. Hank Hill, you know what you could do with your heel? You can go hump your heel. How you like that? Thank you, Royal. That's an example of what I'm talking about. You ain't gonna come on my platform on a Sunday where you think it's special, but because for me it's not. Everybody knows that I say this. If you think you're gonna come over here on a Sunday because you think whatever you think, Sunday is a regular day for me, and me will tell you about your clot. How you like that? Because today's the day for me. Yesterday was the Sabbath. So anyone who wanna come over here and feel like Ingrid before you block them, let me tell them about them warra what's it not first, and then you can block and delete them afterwards. Good, coming afraid of uno. Today's Sunday, don't forget. And we don't mean it in a biblical way. We mean it in a regular day way. Good? So don't let this pretty face fool you. Yesterday I did my live. I turned off the comments for this very reason. Okay, Royal. I turned it off for this very reason because I'm reading Revelations and I'm going in. So I don't want no interruptions when I'm reading Revelations. Good? And it was very peaceful and quiet. Ingrid Nettie had a heart attack. She said, what's up? Why you did this? Why you did that? I said, Ingrid, I just needed to... So don't play around over here. This is not somewhere to come to feel like you can just... No, it's not going to happen, boo-boos. You're going to get slayed by Ingrid and them. So, I had to delete the first video because I was completely in the buff from the waist down. Thank you, Royal Scapes. I don't think that would have been appropriate because the 360 camera, it follows you, and it just, kind of followed me all the way around, and then you... So anyone who saw that, hope you had fun. So we're building momentum before we start because today's Sunday with Rasta Pasta. You know what, Creator? You know what? You know what? You know what, Creator? Okay. Creator is a troublemaker, right? He's a troublemaker, right? He's a valedictorian. He's a TV star. And occasionally he comes over here to create havoc. You see what he says? Where's Carlos? Because him and Carlos have a thing. I don't know what it is. Looks like they're fighting over the old lady. Creator is very young. He's old enough to be my son and grandson. No, he's not old enough to be my grandson. Is he? No, he's not. No. He's old enough to be my son, and he's in love with me. Now, he has a situation with Carlos, my moderator, and this is why he's doing what he's doing. See? 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 You see what he's writing? So am I lying on Creator? Okay. You see, he's self-indulging. Look, he's cute. He's special. Hey, Ingrid. That's Creator. You should go subscribe to him. Creator. The superstar. The TV personality. So because him thinks that him a TV personality, he just come on when he feel like, when he feel like, oh, let me go see what the Rasta do. And then he comes over. See, he's trying to take over. Okay. As we build momentum. So Ingrid, darling, we're going to finish reading Salem story. Yesterday we did Revelations. I don't know where you was, Ingrid. Was you? Oh no, but I turned off the comments. I'm sorry, I forgot. What's for dinner? A girl dad cooking up deliciousness. Well, the peas are on with the coconut milk, the thyme, pimento, the garlic. Yeah. And that's simmering into coconut milk. I can smell the aroma. And it's simmering and the peas are just sitting in it. And I'm just here talking to you guys. And it's just simmering and you could just, oh, Lord. Now, yesterday I had made some hot pepper brown stew chicken. No, sir. Me said, I slayed it. My son, for some reason, couldn't eat the whole pot. So I put it away real fast because we're going to have that today because I'm not going to cook no more chicken. This was enough. Now, when I warm up that chicken, I have it with the fresh rice and peas with some fried plantain and some cabbage and some carrot and a big mug of juice. Oh, no, go. Cha. My mouth a gush water. Who asked me that? Listen here, girl, dad cooking up deliciousness. Stop with the foolishness. You just got me all excited over the damn peas. Yeah, girl, it's right there. I should show you. It's just. Now, I don't have any jasmine rice, so just gonna have to use the regular rice. Now, this rice, I noticed with this rice, you can't add a lot of water. You gotta add. This is the cheap rice. This is what I noticed, but it's the good rice. How do you know this is the real rice? You know this is the real rice because you see after it cooks and everything, it sticks around the pot. That's real rice. Because back in the day, before they did the plastic rice and thingy, that's how the rice used to be. Sometimes when you cook the rice, it's not doing none of that. You could just take it up and whatever. There's nothing residuing at the side of the pot. Think about it, guys. It's just clean. You could just take it up, boom, and that's it. This is the real good rice. So after you rinse off the rice and get rid of all the starch and everything, with this rice, right, you add it, to the peas and the coconut milk and whatever. But now I've got to reduce all of that liquid down. And then add the rice, do a quick spin with the knife, not with a spoon. That's what my mother taught me, not spoon to the rice. Take the knife and do a little 1, 2, cover it and make it steam out. Now, this is what I discovered. When I use less water in this rice, in this particular rice, it just comes up perfect. Here come Carlos. You know what? Let me heat up my coffee. And guys, get ready for the ride. Creator, are you still here? Let me. Creator said, Carlos, get out. Jerry. I'm so excited. And I just can't hide it. I'm about to lose my... I love you guys. I really do. This is a wonderful Sunday. Okay, so the peas is here. I should show you the peas, but you know what? I'm not, because next thing I go pick up the pot. And the pot just drop us some nonsense. But the peas is cooking. Hold on. All right, I don't want to... Because I don't want you to think I'm telling stories, right? Can you see? Can you see? Next thing the thing got dropped on the damn phone. So that's the peas cooking, right? Yeah, girl. Oh, shit. You see? You made me do it? Oh, my God. You know what? Oh, us old people, we just can't do stuff, man. We're just, like, so old. We spill things, we bump into things, we drop stuff. Getting old is not good. Now the chair is all coconut milked up. Okay, so let me get some paper towel. Oh God, the thing I move. All right, let me get some paper towel. I know it's long, right? But it's entertainment. It's entertainment. Bounty. It's called entertainment, guys. I'm entertaining you guys on this wonderful Sunday. Okay, so the chair is Wiped off from the coconut residue peasy thingy. Okay. All right, I think the coffee's warmed up. Multitasking. It just takes so long to multitask. Okay, I've warmed up the coffee. Ow, it's wet. It's wet. You know what, creator? You know what, Carlos? Take care of this dude, yo, because you know what? He seems to be jealous of you for some reason. He mentioned your name as he came on, and it was just like, what is the situation with creator and Carlos? So you know what? We're trying to begin Sunday school, but what had happened was, oh, hi, girl, dad. Oh, but you know your daddy's little girl. She's daddy's little girl, right? You do know that. So that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. Yeah. Girl dad. My daughter is in love with her father. It is unbelievable. I have never seen this before in my life. She act like that's her husband. What's wrong with you? It's crazy. Yeah, that's a girl dad relationship. Yeah. That's that's the relationship are supposed to have with their daughter. My father is in love with his older daughter, Sonia, my sister. I'm just there as a blob, but that's the one he loved, right? Because they look like twins. Me, I'm just the other child. Mm. Yeah, he only see her. Well, I love my father. Yeah, but daddy's little girl. That's how it is. Why you think it's called daddy's little girl? Mhm. That's beautiful. Just take care of her, darling. That's all I can say. Just take care of her. Just love her. Now we got rid of some of the riffraff, right? And basically what I'm saying is, some of the people who come over here are just coming over here to look at content. And when they see that the content that you're doing has nothing to do with what they're doing, they get very upset and they go away. But this is just an example of, showing people how to use their brain. And it's not everything that everybody's running with that you have to run with. Because not everybody want to hear that. Carlos, I've warned them already. Carlos is here. He's very mild and very, he's cool. But he's warning you about Ingrid. Carlos is just as bad, don't get me wrong, but he's very slick with his. But he's actually warning you about Ingrid. Because before he can get, Ingrid gets. Good? It's like she just... Good? Okay. Now, so we lost a couple of views because I had to redo the live because I had a wardrobe malfunction, and my admin advised me to delete the live because everything was exposed from the waist down. Yeah, it was because I was using this 360. Okay, good. We got 5 views and we got 5 thumbs up. That's what I like. If it's accurate, I don't know, because sometimes I be seeing these numbers and then when I log off, I see thousands and I'm like, well, what's going on here? I see 20 people, but when I log off, I see 1,800, 2,000, 3,000. I'm like, I ain't see that. Anywho, it's not always a good crowd. It's a big crowd. It's a good crowd. Now, when we left off, We left off with reading Melchizedek, and we read how he became close with Samael, who had once again enjoyed peace in the spirit, allowed his heart to be possessed again by a feeling of greatness which triggered a new storm in his soul. That feeling mixed with pride and greed came upon him when the prince showed him the golden lute on which the seal of the entire domain was being printed. So if you remember when we was reading about Melchizedek and Samuel, right? Samuel has his own plan to overtake Melchizedek. If you guys remember, we was reading that. So in, Sunday school, this is what we do. Not everybody likes it. No, but it's not everybody's interested because you got a weed smoking Rasta. But we know what we're doing when we're over here. Right? We know what we're doing when we're over here. We don't follow the crowd. From his mansion, Samuel watched Salem in his morning glow, seeing her rich, ornate bride waiting for her king. She coveted her. In his delirium, he began to formulate plans of conquest. He could already feel exalted on his throne, holding the precious scepter in his hands. Everyone would praise him as the liberator of the oppression of those laws. Salem would be a kingdom of complete freedom and pleasure, dominated by this greed. He began to conquer plans of conquest. Samuel decided to act subtly among the subjects, leading them to see on the parchment some inaccuracy to real freedom. In his deception mission, he would act with apparent goodness, showing interest in the growth of everyone's happiness. Pulling his plans into practice, he began to visit the subjects in their mansions, telling them about the glories of the coming kingdom, where they would enjoy complete freedom. Great was his influence on Salem. Everyone admired his beauty and wisdom, having him as a perfect apostle of justice and love. No one could imagine that in the midst of that atmosphere of joy and gratitude, a subtle trap was being placed in the grip of which many could fall carelessly. In his seductive mission, Samuel did not speak against the parchment. However, he praised him for having exercised a trial mission in those 6 years ready to end. In his logic, however, he tried to show that in the coming kingdom, when all were approved, that they would be above those laws. His arguments, apparently correct, paved the way for him to openly affirm that in the new kingdom, the existence of parchment would be an obstacle to the realization of true freedom. The seeds of rebellion thrown by Samuel would soon germinate in the hearts of many in Salem. This happened 6 months after Yom Kippur, when everybody's destiny would be sealed. A third of the inhabitants, seduced by the terrible deception, now exalted him in complete disregard of the laws and the prince whom they judged as outdated. Adonijah, who suffered when he saw the rise of all this rebellion, summoned the subjects to an emergency meeting. On the face of all you could see the contrasting provisions. In a compassionate voice, the king began to reveal to them, as he had never done before, the great importance of the laws recorded on the parchment, showing that they were the basis of all prosperity and peace. If such laws were excluded, all happiness and glory would be extinguished, leading to chaos. After showing the need for the laws, Melchizedek, moved by a strong desire to save those he loved, so much, lifted the scroll in front of everyone, and in a voice full of goodness offered them forgiveness and the opportunity to start again on the path of peace. His words moved everyone, making even Samuel himself motivated at first. However, pride prevented him from repentance again. In this way, the honest subject, which he could still look regretfully toward the scroll, hardened in his rebellion, decided to continue until the end. This decision, however, would not manifest it promptly, for he had idealized a treacherous plan. At the end of the opportunity meeting, Samuel summoned his followers to a secret meeting, which was held under the blanket of the night, next to the Cedron Creek that was outside the walls of Salem. After cursing the parchment and all those who defended it, he began telling them about his plans for revenge and betrayal. As you know, the 6 years of trial are running out, subtracting as of today 24 weeks for the day of the coronation. If you would like to have me as king instead of Melchizedek, I can steal your scepter, taking over the kingdom. Samuel began to explain to them the betrayal launches, giving them the proper guidance on how to act from that date. We need to maintain an appearance of fidelity to the parchment and the prince until it is time to act. The blow will be given on the night before the coronation day. At midnight, we sneak away from Salem. I will steal the scepter that night, and together we will flee to the deep valley where the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah are. There we will arm ourselves and march against Salem, subjugating our enemies. We will end then with the pergamino and with all those who refuse to pay obedience to our government. And we all know what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah, correct? Isn't this great? So you see all of these devious plans and schemings and plots and all of this thing going on. And where do they decide that they're going to go run to? They're going to go run to Sodom and Gomorrah. And we know what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah. I know some people don't like to, hear this, but a lot of people do like to. Because you got a lot of people who love the Creator, who love God. You got a lot of people who could read, but they don't comprehend well. And you got people who can't read at all. So even when you think that you're not doing something for someone, you are. It's the truth. We're reading about Samuel, the right-hand person to Melchizedek, who is noted to be the high priest to the Almighty. So I like to do this because it keeps me from engaging and indulging in the riffraff behavior that's on social media. So I would rather do this in order to create content as opposed to reveling in the nonsense amongst our Jamaican peoples. So we're reading about Melchizedek. We're not running anywhere. Right? We're not following the crowd because we have our own crowd. And we're leaders, we're not followers. And that's what I try to show as much as I can. How? It's good to be a leader. It's not good to be a follower. It's not good to, and when I say that, what I mean is you got to be mindful of what you're following. You have to be mindful of the crowd that you're following, because they alter the way you think. They alter the way you see stuff, because everyone is on the same thing. Everybody's on the same wavelength. You got good wavelengths and you got bad wavelengths, right? You got good and you got bad. I can read wavelengths through the phone. I can pick up waves, from people from the phone. It's very easy to do when you're in tune to life. Others cannot do that. They just want to follow. Right? I am here to show that you remain where you are. You stay in your lane because you have a platform. So because you got a platform, you stay in your lane and you build your platform. No matter who goes, come, go, come, run, go, log off. It doesn't matter. It's your platform. So you don't be discouraged. Have a cup of coffee and smoke some cannabis sativa like what I do. We're here to exemplify the Creator. We're not here to exemplify people. He doesn't like it. He will exemplify you. Yeah. He will exemplify you. He will do that for you. You don't need no one else to do it for you. And when you get it from him, you become an ageless beauty. It's true. Uh-huh. When you get it from him, it shines through. You could see it. You just, yeah, you could just, it's just wonderful. So that's why I do what I do. The weed smoking Rasta, right? That's why I do it. Because it's called exemplifying him, not others. Real talk. Real talk. Because he sees everything we do, right? He sees everything. At least here on I'm a Rasta for Life, he can say, oh, she's talking about me again? Yes, I am. All she do is talk about me. Yes, I do. I just love her. Thank you, Father. Hi, how? Because he sees everything, right? So he sees what you're doing on earth. Important. Because why? When you're dead, you cannot do it. And again, what is he? He's the God of the living, not the dead. Real talk. It's true. And I will be held accountable if I don't tell you these things, right? I will be held accountable. If I don't, if I don't mention these little tidbits to you, right? He will say to me, why you didn't tell them? Why you never tell them, say me is the God of the living, not the dead, eh? Good. So, so as we read about Melchizedek, we also get to see where Sodom and Gomorrah comes into play, and why everybody want to run to Sodom and Gomorrah. Everybody's just fascinated by Sodom and Gomorrah, and we all know where what that city and place entailed, to the point that it was destroyed by who? I only see one view. I don't know if that's real or for true or for whatever it is. I don't know if they're reporting the live or something, because you got haters that want you to jump off. They don't want to see you on YouTube. They want you to disappear. They don't want to see you around, and they do all kind of nonsense to try to prevent you from doing what you're doing. Thank you, Carlos. Is Carlos. So I don't know if it's YouTube doing it or whatever. But right now I see one view. But Carlos is, deleting, and Ingrid, so I don't know. Perhaps that was him he deleted. Let me see if it goes to 0. Seriously. Seriously. So, whatever. So, here again you can see where you got two brethren, right? Two brethren, and one of the brethren loved the brethren for real. But the other brethren, he don't feel the same way. And he's plotting against his brethren, behind his brethren's back, because he is so envious and jealous of his brethren that he wants that same kind of, what could I say, fidelity, because that's what they say. Samuel and his accomplices pretend fidelity to the kingdom. So you see, they're pretending. And this is what this is, showing us when it comes to friendships, people who you consider to be your friends and so forth. You're showing them love and ownership and everything. And behind your back, they're scheming and plotting against you for whatever reason. And this is a regular occurrence among people. They become envious and they become jealous of, for whatever reason it is, for whatever reason. And you who they're jealous and envious of, you're completely unaware that that's what's going on. But they're plotting and scheming against you behind your back, behind closed doors, with others, and you are clueless. Days of apparent tranquility and peace ensued. Samuel, feigning fidelity, was always at the side of the prince, showing admiration for his new compositions. Hypocrite, that exalted the laws of parchment. Samuel's followers, in the same way, united the voices in praises that expressed the greatness of the principles to which they disgusted. You see that? Two-faced hypocrisy right in front of your face, because they think they're going to get you. So they're going to pretend for a minute until they get you. This is the plan. Melchizedek, full of joy to see the day of his coronation approaching, rehearsed with the subjects the songs of victory which he had composed. Especially for that occasion, he happily talked to everyone about his dreams of making Salem increasingly full of honor for his beauty and harmony. Samuel, in his hidden wickedness, mocked the prince. He already foresaw the pain that would be caused by the betrayal. In those days of apparent peace, the rebel subject sought to know where the scepter would be hidden until the day of the coronation. The prince, without distrust, revealed all the secret: the room, the chest with its enigma, the rich case, and finally the treasure. Contemplating the cunning, Samuel was encouraged to see the seal of the domain printed on its convex part. He understood that he who possessed it would have Salem's kingdom in his hands. Only a few days, he thought, and he would have that precious instrument under his power. The sun declined, bringing Salem the day that would mean victory or defeat. Shortly before nightfall, Samuel had left the palace where he had spent the whole day next to the prince, helping him in the preparations for the coronation ceremony. Heading towards his mansion, he greeted the darkness with an evil smile. How much he had longed for that night. While the faithful, bewitched by the excitement of the happy victory, reviewed under the light of candlesticks the ornaments of their instruments, their garments, and mansions, certifying that they would be approved the next morning, Samuel and his followers made their final preparations to wield the blow. At midnight, following Samuel's instructions, all his followers silently abandoned their mansions, heading for the deep valley of Cedron, where they would wait for their new king. Samuel in turn went to the palace funds, where he hoped to enter without being noticed, going to meet the scepter. Avoiding making any noise, he crossed the portal, silently heading to the room that guarded the beautiful scepter. At the moment, the prince, who sleeplessly rolled in his bed, feeling some danger, went to his father's room and woke him up, saying, "My father, I heard the sound of footsteps inside the palace." Stroking the head of his son, Adonijah, sleepy replied, "Son, don't worry. Lie with me and sleep peacefully. From here the dawn will scratch and you will have the golden lute in your hands." The prince, reassured by the reliable words of his father, gave himself to a dream of beautiful dreams in which he lived next to Samuel and all Salem's subjects, the festive moments of the coronation. While this was happening, the rebel with trembling hands seized the scepter. At that time, he had the idea of taking only the lute, leaving the case in its proper place with a smile full of evil. He imagined the moment when the king would give his son that empty case. Taking the scepter with him, Samuel hurried to the place where his followers were waiting for him. When he found them, he gave way to all his pride by proclaiming, "Now I am the king of Salem. Who owns a scepter like mine? With it I dominate the land and the sea. My strength is in darkness because through them I conquered it." Celebrating the victory, the noisy mob, separated to distance themselves from Salem, followed the corrupted cities of the plain, where they pretended to arm themselves for the conquest of their kingdom. The sun appeared on the horizon, bringing the light of the day of atonement, Yom Kippur, waking up from his dream of beautiful dreams. The prince got ready for the ceremony of judgment and coronation. Special garments of fine linen, adorned with gold threads and precious stones, were prepared. After dressing, Melchizedek headed to meet his subjects at the southern end of Salem. From there, he would lead them on a festive march towards the palace to the north on Mount Zion. Adonijah, sounding a long horn, summoned everyone to the trial meeting. Leaving their mansions, all the remaining ones went towards the square of the south door, taking with them their musical instruments. When he met those faithful, Melchizedek was surprised by the absence of many. That mystery hurt in his soul, for he hid the most beloved face of his friend Samuel, leaving his followers. Together, the prince went in search of the absent. In his unsuccessful search, he finally went to the mansion on the mountain where he called Samuel. His voice, however, brought no reply beyond an empty echo, which translated in gratitude. Samuel! Samuel! Reading betrayal in the sad emptiness, he felt like crying. In a single moment, the whole past came to mind of the one whom he had sought with such dedication to keep it in his glory through wise advice. He remembered those days that followed his recovery, how he had rejoiced with the certainty that his friend would never fall again. Taking him to present the tragedies, Samuel's inquiries about the loot came to mind, which he showed in a gesture of friendship. The memory of this fact, added to the steps heard inside the palace that night, gave him the certainty that Salem was in danger. Not enduring that possibility of betrayal, he prostrated himself in tears, hurt by the terrible ingratitude of the one to whom he had dedicated so much love. Curved by pain, he remained for some time, trying to find some comfort. He finally dried his tears, determined to make any sacrifice in order to return his glory and power to Salem, redeeming the scepter from the hands of rebellion. Consoled by the certainty of victory, Melchizedek returned to the side of the faithful subjects, hiding their suffering, as well as the reason for the absence of so many. The prince guided them in a triumphant march towards the palace. So you have the faithful subjects and you have the unfaithful ones. And the unfaithful subjects followed Samuel. Because again, everything is a pretense and a pretending. And because they're pretending, it's easier to follow the pretender. This is what it's showing you. And when you do follow the pretender, the huola uno agofar. That's what it's showing you. Because that's what happens. Because you will always have somebody who's going to create dissension within a group of people. You're going to have that somebody who wants it to be them. And if it cannot be them, they're going to create pure discord and problems because they want you now to follow them. Because what you saying is much more better than what they're saying. What you're doing is much more better than what they're doing. So come follow me and leave these ones alone. Because they don't know what they're talking about. Now, in this case, the faithful ones are completely oblivious to the betrayal because they don't expect this from Samuel. We're up to chapter 7, and it goes up to chapter 14. So now because Samuel, Precious Jones, now because Samuel took the scepter, they can't continue on with the coronation. And this is all due to Samuel. And then Samuel now, because of his anger, imagine, because he's so angry, he scrapes off the inscriptions engraved on the scepter. Can you imagine the man take something and him just real talk, anger, envy, jealousy. So now Melchi now is going to be in danger because he want to go look for him scepter. I fit him scepter because he can't get coronated as king if him not after scepter. You see all these, you see how people wicked? Even in ancients of days, you get to see the corruption within your own camp. You see, y'all, some of you might be trying to figure out what me I do. But you go back to the ancients of time and the behaviors reflect the same behaviors as in 2024. And you can read these behaviors from ancients of times and you see how it unfolds. And what is the end result? That's all. That's all. That's all I'm showing you guys, trying to edify you guys. That when people are plot and are plan against you in your own court, it's not about works. It's your faith. It's not about works, right? It's not about works because you see Samuel are doing work. He might scratch off the inscription on the scepter. So how is this about work? He has no faith. And you don't attain faith by works. So we're going to read chapter 7 in Sunday school because this is what we do. And this is basically about two brethren, Samuel and Melchizedek. And Melchi is getting ready to be crowned king of Salem. And Samuel, the pretender, not like it. And he's pretending to be his loyal friend and all of that and this, that, and scheming behind Melchizedek's back till the point say in teeth Melchizedek scepter and them have to put off the coronation of Melchizedek because the scepter is missing. And who take the scepter? In friend. Part of that you don't comprehend. Watch your friend that you keep. And watch your friend that you keep. It's just showing you that your friends will be your number one betrayers. Real talk. Your friends. They will be your number one betrayers. They will betray you in an instance if they become jealous and envious of you. You look, Pama Peas. Yeah, I'm actually loving this. So, it's not about tearing down others. It's about studying ancient relics and seeing that these behaviors are from ancients of days. And you see where it get the people them. Absolutely nowhere. So, when you're one of the faithful ones and you're dealing with the unfaithful ones, you have nothing to fear. You let the Creator take care of it because they're unfaithful. You got to remember that concept. You have to keep that concept in your brain. When you're dealing with these kind of people, you have to remember they don't have any faith. It all depends on your faith. And if your faith is more than theirs, you're the winner. You are the winner. And that's where you leave the whole of them up to who? God. No watch no face. I have to look at my peas. Warm up my coffee again because I don't like to drink cold coffee unless it's iced coffee. Yeah, unless it's iced coffee. That's also a good business to do in Jamaica, to make iced coffee. I've already said it before. Nobody listens in the tourist, areas. They love iced coffee with brown sugar, caramel, and flavored iced coffee with a whole heap of ice and sweet milk, but not too much sweet milk. And you blend up that and you give it to the tourists, then they're going to love it. So if you guys don't want to do some iced coffee mixes in Jamaica, in Montego Bay and all of these things, and make the tourists then slurp it up where Uno can make money, me tired of Uno. If I was in the areas down there, I'd be making me some iced coffee. What? I would be making iced coffee up to cahoots, and they would be buying my iced coffee. Yes, they would. But all I know if you do is watch people and point finger. And when people like me give an idea of to make money, nobody don't listen. You just want to the yaga yaga and a waga waga. I cry broke every minute. Yeah. Yeah, these people on these social media streets. That's all they do. So that's why I prefer to do this. You know, this is Sunday school, Rasta style. And so please remember that Melchizedek did have a father. Adonijah. As they approached Mount Zion, they climbed the very white steps of the stairs, being followed by the triumphant crowd. It hurt in his soul the expectation of seeing his cheerful song die on the lips of the faithful that morning due to the betrayal. He was now inside the palace before the magnificent throne that awaited the young king. At the base of the throne, the parchment of the laws lay open. In the middle of a floral arrangement, next to him you could see the beautiful crown made of gold and precious stones, as well as the case of that scepter that symbolized all the harmony of Salam. The subjects were happy, for they knew they would be found worthy to inherit that kingdom of peace. They were waiting for the moment of the coronation when the new king would rule them from his throne with his precious scepter in a triumphant chant. Amid the applause of the victorious host, Melchizedek turned to his father, who received him with a warm hug. The moment was truly solemn. The host was silenced in anticipation of the coronation. The case would be opened and everyone would witness the exaltation of the beloved prince. With his heart pounding with joy, Adonijah bent down to the case, opening it carefully. When finding it empty, the joy of his countenance gave rise to an expression of inexpressible concern and sadness, for in that scepter the fate of that kingdom of peace had been sealed. Seeing his father and all the subjects afflicted by the absence of the scepter and so many friends who should be with them at that time, Melchizedek comforted them with the promise that he would seek the scepter. Unaware of the risks and the dangers that awaited the prince on his way, the subjects said goodbye to him, watching him leave in haste. The dawn of that day, which would be that of the coronation, reached the distant rebels of Salam en route to the cities of the plain. On that morning, Samuel was filled with fury when he saw that the precious loot was adorned with inscriptions of the laws contained in the scroll. Taking a pointed stone, he began to damage the scepter, scraping away all the words of love and justice. His harmonious strings were now in tune over his wounded convex part. But he was still beautiful, for Salem's domain lay sealed on him. Owning it meant being the owner of all power. When he reached the height where the road branched, Samuel ordered his followers to continue towards Gomorrah, while he would go to Sodom, where he would remain for 2 days, joining them later. He waited for the night to enter Sodom. When he entered there, he walked through the narrow streets without being noticed until he found an isolated house on an elevation, making the scepter his weapon. He invaded the house, killing his inhabitants while they slept. He thus took possession of that residence where alone he would machine his plans for the sale of Salem. The evening of that day, which would be the coronation, reached the son of Adonijah as he walked alone along the stony path to the valley. His eyes were full of sadness and anxiety, turned to the ground, looking for the traces of the rebels. The memory of the ingratitude of those whom he loved so much made him cry. His tears, reflecting the last flashes of the setting sun, resembled drops of blood flowing from a wounded heart. He cried not because of the dangers that came upon him on that cold night, but because of the unhappy fate of those who had changed Salem's peace because of the violence of those cities in the plain. His only consolation was the memory of those who, despite all the temptations, had remained faithful. They had been promised to return the scepter, and this would be achieved despite any sacrifice. After a long night of insomnia, when the prince was lying on the side of the road, he streaked the light of a day that would be decisive. As he approached Sodom on the morning, the thought of being so close to the scepter of his beloved Salam made him forget all the fatigue, shortening his steps toward the challenge. When the great gate of the city opened, a fear came upon him upon hearing frightful noises of disharmony, which translated the pride, selfishness, and greed that dominated all hearts, making them explode in the orgy of an endless evil. It would be a great risk to expose yourself to the free violence of that city. This thought made him pause at a step from the portal, where he shuddered and bowed his forehead in an inexpressible internal struggle. He was tempted to retreat, but struggled with all his soul forces against the thought of failure. Thinking of Salem's sad fate, whose dominion was being trampled inside that cruel Sodom, Melchizedek made a firm decision. As a reckless warrior, he would have to move forward, and certainly even if he had to face the accumulation of all the dangers, he would continue until he raised in his victorious hands the beloved scepter. Resolute and hopeful, he went through Sodom's door, diving into that strange world. Everything there was the opposite of Salem, beginning with the rough and dirty stones of his constructions. Sodom was a kingdom of darkness. The contrasting presence of the prince was soon noticed by many who, in turmoil, surrounded him. The purity of the character expressed in his great face and the splendor of his garments filled them with horror, and they retreated as defeated by an invisible force. Dominated by fury, they began to chase him from a distance, determined to make him flee. He was thrown stones and mud trying to stain his clothes, but they did not hit him. Meanwhile, he advanced in his anxious search. They finally gave up chasing him at sunset. Beautiful. So I do this. Okay, that was Salem 8. We read chapters 5, 6, and 7. They're very lengthy, but it actually shows you the correlation between Sodom and Gomorrah and Melchizedek and Lot and Abraham. Now, it's Melchizedek's turn to go to Sodom and Gomorrah because his beloved friend Samuel ran there with the scepter, for his coronation. So you get to see the true existence of the place called Sodom and Gomorrah. It's a real thing. And I believe, I'm not sure if it was Gomorrah or Sodom, one of them. I can't remember. That's where the salt production place was, right? And that's where Lot was with his wife and so forth, right? And he was, the salt king. But Abraham had to rescue him. Now you see where that all ties in, right? With Abraham, with Lot, and with Melchizedek. And, Melchizedek is actually one of the three who went to tell Sarah that she's going to be having a son. Melchizedek, yeah. So he also knows Abraham and Lot. So we'll find out if this is before, because we did read about Abraham going to Sodom and Gomorrah. So now, is this when Melchi was king? And is he going to Sodom and Gomorrah? Well, we know he's going to Sodom and Gomorrah because he needs the flute, he needs the scepter in order to be king. So, this is the story of Melchizedek. Now, this is the story of him. So, we're going to find out now if this is before. I think this is before Abraham. Yeah, I think this is before Abraham. So we get to mesh everything that we've read and it correlates. So now we get to see what happened to Melchizedek as he becomes the king of Salem. It's just a wonderful story. I just love it. A lot of people are not in tune to these things. But I know the reason why I do this is because that I know other people like it. Other people love it. So that's why I do it. I'm doing it for the ones who appreciate it. The ones that don't appreciate it and don't want to hear it, that's okay too. No problem. But the ones that actually do enjoy it is why I do it. I don't do it because I have absolutely nothing to do. I do it because I know there's others who like to hear the readings. If nobody didn't like to hear it, they wouldn't log on. They would log off and go about their business. But ones do like to hear it, and that's why I do it. I like to please the ones who appreciate it. Don't forget that, guys. I'm not doing it because I want, there's an appreciation out there for the readings of the Bible and other things that we read that other people might not be privy to. And then when you get to read other stuff, because we're going to read we're going to read something else which you guys have not read about. I think I showed you the book already, right? The Kebra Nagas, right? We're going to read that. So it's all about reading. Yes, Ingrid, I love you, my baby. It's all about being interested in reading and listening to stuff and edifying your brain and trying to get things to correlate. Because if you guys are into the Bible and go to, church and all that, this and reading and whatever, and you know about Abraham, you know about Lot, you know about Sarah, but have you heard of Melchizedek? He's all up in it, but you don't hear about Melchizedek. Because they want to keep that out for what but I know already why they want to keep that out. Salem. I know. But that's okay. Anywho. So, he now is an important figure as being the high priest to the Almighty. Oh, that's too hard to believe. But this is what it is. They don't believe that. They think it's some, fable or some story or some, made upness. Because who are you to be the high priest to the Almighty? Who are you to say that he's not? And this is the story of Salem. Jerusalem. Jerusalem. So, it's good to read. A lot of us don't like to read because of social media, right? Everybody's into the social media. But you can read on social media because people don't like to read. So if I do content on reading, I don't think anyone should be offended. Because I could write a book on the social media shenanigans and read it for you. I could just write a book. It would take me, say, 2 to 3 days. Just write a book on the social media shenanigans, and y'all would just be like, what the? Just a book on all the nonsense. I did decide that I'm going to do Rasta court. Yeah, I'm going to do Rasta court. Yeah, that's a new thing that I'm working on. Rasta court. Because I'm going to lock up the whole of Uno on social media. Yeah. Y'all going to get time and fined. Okay. Because Uno don't have no behavior. And me think we need a Rasta court to take care of the whole of Uno. You can complete your case on the Rasta court. So we finished reading Melchizedek. I don't think we hurt anyone. I appreciate you guys that logged back on after the peep show. We had a lot of deletions, Carlos, Creator, and them. Girl, Dad, I love you, sweetheart. Thank you for watching. Benson, I love you too, baby. I like to do this. Royal Scapes, what's up? Thank you, my darling. Thank you, Royal Scapes. Yeah, I had to redo the live. I'm sorry that you guys, had to, but I had to because, the 360 device thingy was on. I was going to answer the door. Didn't have enough, well, I had panties on below the waist, but I didn't want you to see the color of the panties. So I had to delete that live and start again. So you know what happens when you do that. You always lose momentum. But, basically, it's about those who caught what I was doing, to get some edification and to get something. I know I was supposed to do karaoke last night, Ingrid, but I was exhausted, tired, yo. So you know what? What's tonight? Sunday. You know what? I'll do karaoke tonight. Yeah, today's Sunday. I ain't got nothing else to do. Yeah, so I'll do karaoke tonight, Ingrid. I'll do it early because it's Sunday. Carlos is Carlos. Thank you, my darling, my sweetheart, for being here. You and Ingrid, thank you, because, everything was under control. Yeah, so I'll do karaoke tonight, Sunday night tonight. We're going to do some karaoke because I ain't got to go to work tomorrow. Yeah. Bless up on the good self, Carlos, Ingrid. This was beautiful. We're reading about Melchizedek, the high priest to the Almighty. Yes, he is. And his father is Adonijah. Yes, they said he doesn't have mother and father and all of these things. No need to stop it. He has a father, Adonijah. What happened to the Muma? I don't know. Muta Baruka was right. I have to give props to Muta Baruka. He was right. In the beginning, I was not hearing him, but now I agree 100% with Muta Baruka because I get to see for myself Muta was right. That you cannot call me on the phone and tell me say the man no have no muma, have no poopa. And the Rasta man said, no, me I tell you, say, he no have no mama, he no have no father. Him is this and him is that and him come from God and him that is this, that. And him a carry on and Muta said, me no want hear nothing from you. Because you tell me, say, a man who is born, man. You are gonna tell me, say, he now had no mama and him now had no... We say, when Muta Baruka finished with him, you see, I felt bad for the Rasta man. I did. I wanted to take Muta Baruka and... But he's right. As much as you're saying high priest to the Almighty and wherever, okay, fine. But we're talking about a human being. So how is it he don't have a mother or a father? Come on, stop the propagandaism. And this is what happens when people don't read and get the facts, the story then, right? Get the information before you start blurt out the nonsense. Because clearly we see that Melchizedek's father's name is Adonijah. They don't mention no mother, but they sure mention a father. Because we're reading it. In Melchizedek. We're reading it. So that's why when you go with the crowd and you don't get the information and you start blurting out nonsense, this is where people, can say, you don't know what you're talking about because you have not checked out the facts. 1 hour. I'm gonna go at 1:30 exactly. You haven't checked out the facts and then you're coming on social media talking a load of nonsense. And then you got people actually agreeing with you and saying you're right. And you're not. You're 100% wrong. He has a father. Adonijah. So he's very important too, Melchizedek. You might not have heard of him, but now you have. And he was all there with Abraham and them. He was there with Lot and them. And he was there before some of them. And he's still there to, tell them that when you was in your ancestor's seed sack, he was doing something. I forgot what it was, but I read that somewhere. And that's what he said. I think he said it to the Old Testament. He said it to somebody. I don't think it was Isaiah. Could it be Isaiah? One of them. Well, he said it to one of them. And I said, what? So what he's saying is, when you was in your ancestor's seed sack, you're alive and you get to see me still. This is what he's saying. I said, what? I've read this in scriptures. This is what he said. Melchi. Me forget it's who him say it to. But I can't remember if it was Samuel. Somebody him say it to. Him say when you was in your ancestor's seed sack, wherever, and you alive and you getting to see me now. It's fascinating. Just fascinating. So now I get to read about Melchi somewhere else and say like, wow, look at this. This is just inspiring. If you don't believe that there's a creator, something's wrong with y'all. Something is wrong with y'all. I mean, there's a lot of stories out there that we could read, a lot, everything. And it all goes to the same kind of connection. Like when you read, you're going to recognize certain names from other places and be like, I read this in Melchizedek. Or I read this in the Bible. My Lord. That's what's fascinating about it. So I mean, I had time for you to chat about people and bring down people and I talk about woman and gal and why and all these things. I would rather invest my time in using the Bible to show you got the same behaviors from ancients of days coming all the way through to the present. And the outcome of these behaviors as per scriptures. What is the outcome? What is the end result? So you get to see what happens to the faithful ones and the unfaithful ones. You get to see it on social media. It's true. You get to see it. You get to see what happens to the faithful and you get to see what happens to the unfaithful on social media. So you don't have to cuss and carry on like mad woman or madman. You just recognize it for what it is and keep it stepping. Just keep moving forward. Because our Creator is taking care of what needs to be taken care of. Right in front of your eyes. Everybody I get their judgment every day. And He doesn't need our help or interference. He doesn't need no one's help to take care of who? The dirty people there. He doesn't need anyone's help. No one. So with that, I'm going to finish preparing my dinner, my good up rice and peas and so forth. Because we live somewhere and we cook dinner and we do all these things. Then I'm going to get all dolled up for tonight for karaoke. We're going to do an early shot because, I know you guys got to go to work tomorrow. Those who work, those who don't, whatever. I'm off tomorrow. So I could do this, drink, smoke, do a little singing, do da-da, keep it moving. Let me go rinse out my throat with some lemon and honey and do some do, re, do, me, do. Bless upon the good, clean, nice self. Remember, said the Rasta love no bad. And thank you, Ingrid. You're the best. Carlos, you're the best too. And I think we can move forward because we deleted the first live, so there's nothing to worry about. Unless we see a little thumbnail of me somewhere thrown up. Look at the Rasta! I gotta go. I love you guys. Oh, God.